Ricardo is someone I trust with my life, straight up, no question about it, no hesitation whatsoever when I say that. We've worked together, we've had each other's backs in situations most people wouldn't believe if we told them the full story. And I mean situations that would make your average person's head spin trying to process what actually went down that night. He's a personal protection agent, tech executive detail, and he's the real deal, not the Instagram type posting photos with clients trying to get famous off someone else's name. He's the kind who keeps his mouth shut and his eyes open at all times. We met years back working a detail together in Miami. Won't say who for because that's not how we move. But let's just say when things went sideways at 3 in the morning, Ricardo was the one who kept everyone breathing and got us out of there in one piece. What he's about to tell you, this is the story that almost made him walk away from the whole industry entirely, and I mean pack his bags and never look back at this life again because of how deep it got, how dark it went, and how close he came to not making it out at all. We're talking tech money, dirty cash flowing through Silicon Valley like water, and an organization that doesn't take no for an answer, ever, under any circumstances, and they will make that very clear to you if you try to walk away from them. This is Ricardo Fuentes on the protection perspective. Let's get into it right now, because this story needs to be heard by everyone in this industry. So it's 2:47 in the morning in Palo Alto, middle of the night, dead quiet out there, and Ricardo's phone is just blowing up non-stop, call after call coming through. His client, this tech CEO worth $200 million on paper at least, maybe more depending on stock prices that week, hasn't been seen in 14 hours and nobody knows where he is.
Yeah, man, so I'm standing in this penthouse. Right, everything's perfect. I mean, everything is exactly where it should be. Too perfect, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in that moment. His laptop's open on the desk, coffee's still warm in the cup, like he just made it maybe 20 minutes ago. But he's gone, completely vanished. Not a trace of where he went or when he left.
That's when your gut starts telling you something's really wrong, right? Because that setup doesn't make sense if someone just stepped out for a minute.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm feeling. And then I see it right there on his screen. Bank transfers, cryptocurrency wallets, all these transactions. Names I recognized from a club in Tijuana I worked 6 months ago. That's when I knew, like really knew deep in my bones, I wasn't protecting a tech executive doing legitimate business. I was protecting a money man for the Syndicate, laundering their cash through his company. And now he was missing, completely off the grid, which meant I was next on their list because they'd think I knew something or I was involved somehow.
Bro, that's a nightmare scenario right there. You're standing in that apartment realizing you're in way deeper than you ever signed up for, way deeper than any paycheck is worth no matter how much they're giving you.
For real, man, my heart's pounding, I'm sweating, trying to figure out my next move because every decision from that point forward could be the one that gets me killed.
All right, so for people who don't know, walk us through what personal protection for tech executives actually looks like on a day-to-day basis, because this ain't bodyguarding rappers or celebrities at clubs. This is a whole different world.
Right, so I started doing security at high-end clubs in San Jose, Palo Alto area. You know, places where tech bros are spending stupid money every single night, like it's nothing to them. Bottle service every night, sometimes multiple tables, dropping $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on a Tuesday, like it's just another evening out for them, no special occasion needed.
I've seen that energy before. Those guys who just got their first big exit or their stock options vested and now they're feeling themselves hard, acting like they run the whole city.
Yeah, exactly. But you start seeing patterns after a while. Same faces showing up. Money that doesn't make sense when you really think about it. Like a 24-year-old startup kid dropping $50,000 on a random Tuesday night.
That's when you start asking yourself where that money's really coming from, because even with a good salary and stock options, that math ain't adding up for somebody that young.
Exactly what I'm thinking. So one night this CEO gets too drunk, starts talking loose, tells me he needs someone discreet, someone who understands how the real world works. His exact words. That's code, man. That's always code for something shady, something that needs to stay quiet. But the money he's offering is $15,000 a week, cash, paid every Friday, no questions asked.
$15K a week cash? Damn, that's 60 grand a month. That's serious money that makes you consider things you normally wouldn't even think about doing. I get it.
Right, so I took it. I'm not gonna lie. I needed the money, and I told myself it's probably nothing too crazy. Just a paranoid rich guy who wants extra security. First few months, it's normal work, drive him to meetings, stand outside conference rooms, make sure nobody gets too close to him. Standard executive protection stuff, nothing that raised any red flags.
So when did it change? When did you start noticing this wasn't just regular tech executive protection work anymore and something else was going on?
The meetings changed, man. We start going to warehouses in East Palo Alto, late-night drives to the docks in Oakland, Meeting with men who don't shake hands, just nod. Very cold. Very serious energy. I start noticing every time we go to these meetings, money moves, not wire transfers through banks, crypto, untraceable, millions of dollars changing hands in minutes through encrypted wallets.
That's when you realize you're not just watching business deals, you're watching money laundering operations happening right in front of you, and you're part of it whether you like it or not.
Exactly, my client David Chen, he's laundering money through his tech company, venture capital funding on the surface, cartel cash underneath, using the startup as a front for the whole operation. And I'm not just his bodyguard anymore at this point. I'm a witness to federal crimes. I'm complicit just by being there, and knowing what's happening, I can't claim ignorance.
That's a dangerous position to be in, bro, because now you know too much to walk away clean, but you're not deep enough to be protected by the organization if things go sideways.
You just described my exact situation perfectly. I'm in this weird middle zone where I'm valuable, but also expendable. They need me, but they don't trust me completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've been in similar spots before, so when did you realize you couldn't just walk away? Like, what was the moment that made it clear you're locked in?
About 3 months in, David asks me to come to Tijuana with him. Says it's a business trip, just routine stuff. I should have said no right then, but I didn't. We go to this club, high-end, VIP only. Looks legitimate from the outside, but it's a front. Upstairs, there's an entire operation. Counting rooms, surveillance equipment everywhere, armed men posted at every door.
So you walk into their actual headquarters, basically. You're seeing the whole setup, meeting the people who really run things. That's a level of access that's hard to come back from.
Yeah, man. I meet the people David really works for. The family. They run everything from San Diego all the way down to Guadalajara. Huge operation. Decades in the game. Very organized. Very ruthless. This one guy, they call him El Contador, the accountant. He's the one managing all the money. He looks at me and says, "You keep our friends safe. You keep yourself safe." Very direct. No confusion about what he means.
That's a threat disguised as advice. That's them telling you exactly what happens if David gets hurt or goes missing on your watch. They're putting it on you.
Exactly what it was. That's when I knew for sure. I'm not an employee anymore. I'm insurance. If David goes down, I go down with him. My life is tied to his now. Back in Palo Alto, things escalate fast. David's getting paranoid. Thinks the feds are watching him. Thinks his business partners are skimming money off the top. He's unraveling mentally.
When your client starts getting paranoid like that, that's dangerous for you too, because paranoid people make rash decisions. They start seeing enemies everywhere, including people who are actually loyal to them.
For real. One night we're at his office, 11 p.m., nobody else there. He gets a call, hangs up, looks at me with this expression I've never seen before, and says, "We have a problem." 2 of his engineers found discrepancies in the books. They know something's wrong with the numbers. They're asking questions, wanting to know where certain funds are coming from and going to.
Oh man, that's bad, because smart tech people can follow money trails. They can see patterns in data that regular people miss. They're a real threat to the operation.
Exactly. So David tells me to handle it. I say, handle what? Trying to play dumb. He says make sure they understand discretion. Make sure they know to keep their mouths shut. I'm not an enforcer, man. I'm protection. That's not what I do. But the line's getting blurry. He's asking me to do things that aren't in my job description. Things that cross lines I don't want to cross.
That's when you know you're in too deep. When they start asking you to do dirt, not just witness it, but actually participate in it, that changes everything about your situation.
Right. So I go talk to these engineers. Nice kids. Mid-20s. Both of them think they're changing the world with technology. Have no idea what they've stumbled into or how dangerous it is. I tell them to drop it. Take a bonus and forget what they saw. Don't ask questions. Don't dig deeper. Just let it go and move on with their lives.
You're trying to save their lives, basically, trying to warn them without saying too much. But some people don't listen. They think they're doing the right thing by pushing forward.
Exactly what happened. One of them, this kid named Aaron, he doesn't listen to me. Says he's going to the board, maybe the SEC. He's gonna blow the whistle on the whole thing. 2 days later, Aaron doesn't show up to work. His roommate files a missing persons report with San Jose PD. Police investigate, but they find nothing. No leads, no body, nothing.
But you know what happened to him? You don't need the police to tell you. You know exactly what went down and who was responsible for it.
I don't ask David what happened. I don't want confirmation. But I know, and I know I'm next if I step wrong, if I ask too many questions, if I show any signs of disloyalty.
So now we're at the night David disappears, the night everything comes crashing down. Walk me through it minute by minute. What happened that day leading up to the phone call?
It's a Thursday. Seems like a normal day at first. I pick David up at 7 a.m., like always. Drive him to his office in Palo Alto. Morning routine. Nothing unusual yet. But he's twitchy. More than usual. Keeps checking his phone every few minutes, looking over his shoulder. That paranoia I mentioned earlier is getting worse. He's on edge about something specific.
You can feel when something's about to happen, right? Like that tension in the air before a storm hits. You just know something's coming, but you don't know what yet.
Yeah, exactly that feeling. So around 2 p.m., he tells me he's staying late at the office, tells me to go home. He'll call if he needs me. First time he's ever done that in 6 months. I don't like it. My gut's telling me something's wrong. But he's the boss. He's paying me. So I leave, I go back to my apartment and try to relax, but I can't shake this feeling.
That's your instinct screaming at you, man. When you've been doing this work long enough, your body knows when danger's coming, even before your brain figures it out consciously.
For real. So I'm at my apartment when his assistant calls me at 10 p.m., panicking, asking, "Have you seen David? Where is he? Do you know where he went?" I tell her no. I left him at the office at 2. She says he left the office at 6 p.m., told her he was going home to his penthouse. But he never arrived there. His wife is freaking out.
4 hours missing? That's a long time for someone who's that high profile and that connected, especially someone who's mixed up in what he's mixed up in. That's serious.
Yeah, so I drive to his penthouse immediately, use my key. He gave me access for emergencies. I walk in and the place is empty, but everything's there like I said earlier. I see the laptop open on his desk, the bank transfers on the screen, cryptocurrency wallets, encrypted messages, and I start reading through everything, trying to piece together what happened.
What are you seeing on that screen? What's in those messages and transactions that makes you realize how bad this situation really is?
David was skimming, man, taking money from the organization, millions of dollars, hiding it in offshore accounts, cryptocurrency wallets they didn't know about, building himself an escape fund. The messages show he was planning to disappear. New identity, new country, new life. He was gonna take the money and run, leave everyone behind, including the family.
That's a death sentence right there. You don't steal from people like that and expect to live. They will hunt you to the ends of the earth and make an example out of you.
Exactly. So my phone rings. Unknown number. My heart drops because I know who it is before I even answer it. I pick up and it's El Contador, the voice I was dreading. He says, "Where is he?" Very calm, very cold. I say I don't know. I wasn't with him today. He told me to go home. I'm trying to explain, but he cuts me off.
He doesn't want to hear excuses. He wants results. He wants David found, and he wants to know if you're involved in whatever David's doing, if you're helping him disappear.
Right. He says you were supposed to be watching him. That was your job. You find him or we find you. You have 48 hours. Then he hangs up. Just like that. Conversation over. Now I'm in it for real. I'm on the clock. My life depends on finding David in 2 days or proving I had nothing to do with his disappearance. I'm sweating, heart racing, mind going a million miles an hour.
So what do? Where do you even start when you're trying to find someone who doesn't want to be found, and you've only got 48 hours before people start coming after you?
I start retracing David's steps, checking security footage from his office building, talking to people who saw him that day, his assistant, the security guard downstairs, anyone who might know something. I find out he met with someone at a hotel in San Francisco the night before. A woman, not his wife. They had dinner, talked for 2 hours. She left first. He stayed.
Who's the woman? Is she involved in his plan? Is she helping him disappear? Or is she something else entirely? Another piece of the puzzle you gotta figure out.
I track her down through the hotel's valet records, find her name, her address. I show up at her place the next morning. She's a forensic accountant, works independently, does consulting for tech companies. David hired her to help him disappear. She was setting up the new identity, the bank accounts, the whole escape plan. She admits all of this because she's scared. She knows something went wrong.
So she was in on it with him, helping him steal from the cartel and disappear, but now he's missing, and she's probably thinking she's next on the list too, right?
Exactly. She tells me David never showed up to their final meeting. He was supposed to bring the money, cash, cryptocurrency keys, everything they needed to finalize the plan. But he never came. She thinks he got cold feet, or someone got to him first, intercepted him before he could run. But I'm starting to think there's a third option she hasn't considered yet.
What's the third option? What are you thinking that she's not seeing? Because you know how these things work better than she does. You've seen this world from the inside.
Maybe David's plan was never to run with her. Maybe it was to disappear and let everyone think he ran with the money. make everyone chase a ghost while he's actually somewhere else entirely. So I start checking morgues, hospitals, Jane Does, anywhere an unidentified body might turn up. I'm calling in favors, talking to contacts in law enforcement, trying to find any trace of him.
You're thinking he might already be dead, that someone caught him before he could execute whatever his real plan was, that the organization already got to him and dealt with the problem?
Yeah, and then I get a tip from a contact in the San Jose PD, body found in the bay near Oakland. Matches David's description. They're waiting on dental records for confirmation. I go to the morgue. They let me view the body because I'm listed as his security. It's him, no doubt, execution style. 2 to the back of the head. Professional hit. Clean, efficient.
Damn, so someone killed him before he could run, took him out execution style. That's a message to anyone else thinking about stealing from the organization. That's them making a point.
Right. So I call El Contador, tell him what I found, where the body is. There's silence on the other end for like 10 seconds. Feels like forever. Then he says, who did it? I say you tell me, because I don't know if it was them cleaning up their own mess or if it was someone else. Maybe a rival organization. Maybe David's partner turning on him.
What does he say? Does he admit it was them, or does he seem surprised, like maybe this wasn't their doing and now they've got a bigger problem on their hands?
He just hangs up, doesn't answer the question, doesn't say anything else, just ends the call, which tells me he either did it or he knows who did, and he's figuring out his next move. Next day, 2 men show up at my apartment. Not cops, not feds. I can tell immediately. These are the family's cleanup crew. They're there to search my place, make sure I don't have the money.
They think you might be in on it with David, that maybe you helped him hide the money and now you're sitting on millions waiting for things to cool down before you disappear yourself.
Exactly what they think. They search everything. My phone, my laptop, my car, looking for cryptocurrency keys, account numbers, anything that would lead them to the missing money. They tear my place apart. They don't find anything because I don't have it. I was never part of David's plan. I was just his bodyguard, but they don't fully believe me. I can see it in their eyes.
That's a dangerous position, man, because even if you're innocent, they might decide you're a loose end anyway, someone who knows too much and needs to be eliminated just to be safe.
They leave me with a message: if the money shows up, you bring it to us. If the feds come asking questions, you don't know anything. Understand? Do you understand what we're telling you right now? I understand perfectly. I'm a loose end. Loose ends get cut. I need to be very careful about every move I make from this point forward, or I end up like David in the bay.
So how do you get out of this situation? You're caught between the organization who doesn't fully trust you and potentially the feds who might come knocking. What's your play here?
The feds did come. About a week later, FBI, Financial Crimes Unit, they show up at my door with questions about David's company, the money laundering, all of it. They know everything. They offer me a deal, testify against the organization, witness protection, new identity, the whole package. They're trying to build a RICO case, and they need someone on the inside to make it stick.
That's a tough call. On one hand, you could help take down a dangerous organization. On the other hand, witness protection isn't as safe as they make it sound in movies. People still get found.
I said no, straight up. Not because I'm loyal to the organization. I'm not. But because I know how this works. You testify. You're dead within a year. Witness protection or not, they will find you. I told them I was just security. Didn't know anything about the finances, just drove him to meetings and stood outside doors. Played dumb, gave them nothing they could use.
Did they believe you, or did they keep pushing? Because the feds can be persistent when they think you know something valuable. They don't give up easy on potential witnesses.
They didn't believe me, I could tell, but they couldn't prove otherwise. They had no evidence I was involved in the financial side, just that I was David's bodyguard. That's not enough for charges. They threatened me with obstruction, tried to scare me into cooperating, but I held firm, said I wanted a lawyer. They eventually left, but I knew they'd be watching me going forward.
So now you got the feds watching you and the organization watching you. Everybody's waiting to see what you do next. That's pressure from both sides. How do you handle that mentally?
I just keep my head down. Don't make any sudden moves. Don't do anything that would make either side think I'm a threat or that I'm hiding something from them. The money, David's missing millions. It never turned up, not that I know of anyway. My theory is David had a partner, someone who killed him and took everything, disappeared with it.
That makes sense. Someone close enough to know the plan but ruthless enough to cut David out and take it all. Maybe even someone in the organization itself who saw an opportunity.
Could be. The organization thinks the same thing. They're still looking for it. Probably always will be. That much money doesn't just vanish. It's out there somewhere with someone who's very good at hiding. 3 months later, El Contador gets arrested. RICO charges. Massive federal operation. They take down like 20 people in one sweep. The whole organization starts crumbling from the top down.
That's when you breathe a little easier, right? Because with the leadership getting locked up, the heat comes off you. They got bigger problems than worrying about one bodyguard who might know something.
Yeah, I'm clear. For now at least. But I'm marked. People in that world know my face. Know I was close to David. Know I survived when a lot of others didn't. That makes me memorable. I had to leave California entirely. Couldn't stay there. Too many people who might recognize me. Too many connections to that world. I moved to Texas. Started completely over from scratch.
Texas is good for that, big state, lots of places to disappear, different culture, different scene. You can reinvent yourself there and nobody asks too many questions about your past.
Exactly why I chose it. New clients, new rules, completely different approach to the work. I'm way more careful now about who I work for and what I'm willing to do. Now I vet everyone thoroughly. I don't care how much money they're offering. If something feels wrong, if my gut tells me this is sketchy, I walk away immediately. No hesitation.
That's the lesson right there, man. Trust your instincts, because that $15,000 a week that seemed so good at the beginning almost cost you your life. No amount of money is worth that.
For real, I also keep records now. Encrypted, backed up in multiple locations. Dead man switch. If something happens to me, everything goes public automatically. It's my insurance policy. It's the only kind of insurance that works in this business. The only thing that keeps you safe when you know things that powerful people don't want known. You make yourself more valuable alive than dead.
That's smart. That's thinking long-term about your survival, not just in the moment, but years down the line when someone might decide you're a loose end that needs tying up.
Aaron, that engineer who went missing, remember him? They found him 8 months later, shallow grave in the desert outside Barstow. Exactly what I feared had happened to him when he disappeared. His family still doesn't know why. They think it was random, wrong place, wrong time. But I know exactly why he died. And it's because he asked the wrong questions to the wrong people.
That's heavy, bro. Knowing what really happened and not being able to tell his family, having to live with that knowledge, that's a burden you carry forever. That weighs on you.
Yeah, man. I think about it sometimes. Think about what I could have done differently, if I could have saved him somehow. But I know the truth is, I probably couldn't have. He was determined to do the right thing. This work, executive protection, high-level security, it's not what people think. It's not standing around looking tough, wearing a suit and sunglasses. That's the movie version. That's not reality.
What's the reality? What do you want people to understand about this world that they don't get from watching movies or TV shows about bodyguards and security work?
You're watching money move, watching power shift, watching deals go down that could never happen in the light of day. And sometimes you're watching people die, literally or figuratively, their lives ending because of what they know. The question is, can you live with what you see? Can you stay silent when you should speak? Can you speak when staying silent would be easier? Those are the real moral choices in this work.
And there's no clear right answer, right? Because speaking up might get you killed, but staying silent makes you complicit. You're damned either way, depending on how you look at it.
Exactly. I made my choices. I'm alive. I'm still working. I'm able to sleep at night most of the time. But I'm not proud of all of them. Some things I wish I'd done differently looking back. But that's the thing about this life. You make the best decisions you can with the information you have in the moment, and then you live with the consequences, good or bad, for the rest of your life.
You still doing executive protection, or did this whole experience make you switch to a different type of security work? Because I know some guys who go through something like this completely change careers.
I'm still doing it, but very differently. Much smaller clients now, local business owners, some celebrities when they come through Texas. Nothing international, nothing that involves that level of money or risk anymore. I also do training now, teaching other security professionals how to vet clients, how to recognize red flags, how to protect yourself legally and physically when you're working in this industry, passing on what I learned the hard way.
That's valuable knowledge, man, because a lot of young guys getting into this work, they see the money and they don't see the danger. They don't understand what they're really signing up for until it's too late.
That was me 6 years ago. I saw $15,000 a week, and I didn't ask enough questions. I didn't do my due diligence. I just took the money and figured I'd deal with whatever came up. Now I tell these young guys, if someone's offering you way more money than the job should pay, there's a reason. Figure out what that reason is before you take the job, not after.
Man, Ricardo, I appreciate you sharing that whole story. That's heavy, that's real. That's the cost of this work that people don't see. The real consequences, real bodies, real choices that haunt you. For everyone listening, this is what it really looks like. Not movies, not TV shows. This is real life, and in real life, people die when they make the wrong move or ask the wrong question. Ricardo's still out here doing the work, but smarter now, more careful, with better boundaries. That's how you survive long-term in this industry. You learn from your mistakes, and you adapt or you don't make it. If you're in this industry or thinking about getting into it, listen to what he just said. Vet your clients thoroughly, trust your gut when something feels wrong, and have an exit plan before you need one. Ricardo, where can people find you if they need real protection? Or are you staying off the grid these days, keeping a low profile after everything that went down in California?
I stay low profile, man. No social media, no website. If someone needs me, they find me through people who know people. That's how it works now. Word of mouth only. Keeps the wrong people from finding me. Appreciate you having me. Jay, this was good to talk about. Get it off my chest. I don't talk about this stuff much, but people need to hear it. Need to understand what this world is really like.
Anytime, brother, you know you always got a spot here. Your stories matter, your experience matters, and people need to learn from what you went through so they don't make the same mistakes. Stay safe out there.
You too, man. Stay up. Keep doing what you're doing with this podcast. It's important work. Giving people the real truth about this industry instead of the Hollywood version they see everywhere else.
For everyone listening, subscribe to The Protection Perspective. We got more stories like this coming. Real people, real danger, real talk, no sugarcoating, no Hollywood nonsense, just the truth about what this life is really like. We're going to keep bringing you these conversations, keep showing you both sides of this industry, the good and the bad, the success stories and the cautionary tales, because you need both to really understand this work. I'm Big J. This was Ricardo Fuentes. And remember, in this business, your reputation is everything, your word is everything, and your life depends on the choices you make every single day. So choose wisely, stay protected.
Hey, before I go, let me ask you something.
Yeah, what's up?
You ever have a situation where you had to walk away from a client mid-contract, like just completely ghost, because things got too dangerous or too sketchy?
Man, yeah, actually I have, and it's funny you bring that up because I don't talk about this one much, but it ties into everything you just shared about vetting clients and trusting your gut. This was maybe 4 years ago. I got hired by this tech entrepreneur, young guy, made his money in cryptocurrency, wanted full-time protection for him and his family at their estate in Austin.
Crypto money? That's always interesting. What happened?
First 2 weeks, everything seemed normal. Standard residential security. I had a team of 4 guys rotating shifts, monitoring cameras, doing perimeter checks, nothing unusual at all. Then one night I'm doing a walkthrough around 2 in the morning and I noticed the client's having a meeting in his office with 3 guys I've never seen before, never been cleared through security, just showed up.
Red flag right there. Uncleared visitors in the middle of the night.
Exactly. So I check with the gate guy, and he tells me the client called down directly, told him to let these 3 through without logging them, without running their IDs, just let them straight through to the house. That immediately made me uncomfortable because part of our job is knowing who's on the property at all times. We can't protect someone if we don't know who's in the house with them. That's basic security protocol.
What did you do?
Next morning I sat down with him, told him we need to have a conversation about security protocols, explained that we can't do our job effectively if he's bypassing our systems and bringing in unvetted people. He got defensive immediately, told me those were business associates, that I didn't need to know everything about his business dealings, that my job was just to patrol the property and keep random people out. I explained that's not how executive protection works. We're not just security guards walking around. We're threat assessment and mitigation, and we can't assess threats we don't know about.
How'd he take that?
Not well. He basically told me to stay in my lane or he'd find someone who would, so I backed off for the moment, but I started paying closer attention to what was happening on that property. Over the next week, I noticed a pattern. These late-night meetings were happening 3-4 times a week, always different people, always unlogged, and they'd leave with bags or briefcases they didn't come in with.
Oh man, that sounds like you were providing security for something way beyond what you signed up for. That sounds like you were protecting a distribution point, or something.
That's exactly what I started thinking, and then one of these visitors got aggressive with one of my team members, started demanding he erase camera footage from that night, threatening him if he didn't. My guy handled it professionally, didn't erase anything, came straight to me, and that's when I knew we had a serious problem, because now these unknown people were trying to control our security systems and intimidate my team.
What did you do? Did you confront the client again?
I went straight to him, told him what happened, told him this was completely unacceptable and we needed full transparency about who these people were and what was happening on his property or we were done. He tried to play it off, said it was just a misunderstanding, that his associate was just concerned about privacy, offered me a 20% bonus if I just let it go and not ask questions.
The bonus offer, that's always the tell. That's when you know for sure something illegal is happening, because legitimate business doesn't need to pay you extra to look the other way.
Exactly, man. And that's what you were saying earlier about if the money's too good, there's a reason. This was that moment for me. I had to make a choice right there. I told him we were terminating the contract effective immediately, packed up all our equipment that day, pulled my entire team off the property, and I've never looked back, never regretted that decision for a second.
Good call, man. That took guts. Especially walking away from that kind of money. Did you ever find out what he was actually doing?
About 6 months later, I saw his name in the news. Federal indictment for running a cryptocurrency laundering operation, moving money for various criminal organizations, exactly what I suspected was happening. If I had stayed on that contract, if I had taken that bonus and looked the other way, me and my whole team could have been caught up in that federal case, could have lost our licenses, faced charges ourselves.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's the kind of decision that defines your career. You either compromise your principles for money, or you walk away and protect yourself and your team.
And it wasn't easy. I lost a significant contract, had to explain to my team why we were walking away from good money, had some of them question the decision at first. But when that indictment came down and they saw what we had narrowly avoided, every single one of them thanked me, told me they understood why I made that call, and they respected the decision to protect the team.
That's leadership right there. That's what separates the real professionals from the people who are just chasing money. You put your team's safety and integrity above the paycheck.
And that's the lesson I want people to take from both our stories today. Your integrity and your freedom are worth more than any amount of money, because once you lose those things, you can't get them back.
Facts, man. I wish I had learned that lesson earlier. Would have saved me a lot of trauma and stress. But at least I learned it eventually, and I'm still here to talk about it.
That's all we can do, brother. Learn from our mistakes and share those lessons with the next generation coming up in this industry so they don't have to learn everything the hard way like we did. This is exactly why I started this podcast, to have these real conversations, to share these stories that don't get told anywhere else, because this is the education that actually matters in this field.
Appreciate you doing this, Jay. Seriously. Not enough people in this industry are willing to be this transparent about the mistakes and the close calls. Everybody just wants to talk about their successes.
Yeah, but the failures and the near misses are where the real learning happens. That's where the valuable lessons are. Anybody can tell you how they succeeded, but it takes courage to talk about where you messed up.
Truth. And for anyone listening who's in a situation right now where something doesn't feel right, where your gut is telling you to walk away, listen to that instinct. Don't ignore it.
Your intuition is developed from years of experience and observation. When something feels off, it usually is off. That feeling exists for a reason. It's your subconscious picking up on details your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet.
Exactly. And in this line of work, ignoring your gut can literally get you killed or imprisoned. The stakes are too high to just push through when every instinct is telling you to get out.
This has been an incredible conversation, Ricardo. I think we've given people a lot to think about today. A lot of real talk about what this industry actually looks like behind the scenes.
For sure, man. Thanks again for having me. This was therapeutic in a way, getting to talk through some of this stuff with someone who actually understands the business.
Anytime, brother. You're always welcome back here. And everyone listening, that's the show for today. Real stories, real consequences, real lessons from the protection industry.